What's going on, guys? Today we're talking about why I changed from a Harley Davidson over to the adventure style motorcycles. So if you're interested to see why, stay tuned. All right, guys, welcome back to the channel. American Abroad here. I've ridden a ton of Harleys, okay? Let me say that from the beginning. I've ridden quite a few Harleys. A couple that come to mind that we're really comfortable with. Sportster, Heritage, Road King. A lot of police in the U.S. use the Road King because it has, I think in the Harley lineup, at least it did, have the largest turn radius. I think they're definitely somewhat nimble. Look, you're just not going to get the performance out of a Harley that you're going to get and the diversity you're going to get out of an adventure motorcycle. Most adventure motorcycles, you're going to get extreme diversity. You know, you have a little bit more off-road capability depending on what bike you go with and how big the bike is. This one's definitely going to be more off-road oriented than a Harley. You're really going to do some off-road. I would suggest going with something more, a little bit smaller, like a 700, 800, Tenere 700 comes to mind. I love the comfort you're getting from this bike. I mean, look at this, absolutely gorgeous motorcycle. You're getting so much power from this engine. Even if you want to do wheelies and stuff, like you could do that on this motorcycle. Leaning into corners a lot harder. When I had my chopper and when I rode a lot of Harleys, even on a VTX 1300, that's like Honda's version of a Harley, right? Beautiful bike, tons of power in that bike. That's a shaft drive, and of course this is a shaft drive as well. A lot of people say I don't like adventure motorcycles because of the chain. I have to clean it. Dude, this is a shaft drive, so you don't have to worry about that. This, you can lean harder. I was great, anytime I ride a Harley, especially if you have a Harley with like floorboards, you don't have pegs, you have like the floorboards. They're super comfortable, really nice, but man, you're scraping those every time you lean into a corner, like any kind of hardness. If you're really leaning, you're scraping those, scraping, and that's not a cool, if that catches too much, it could cause you to have an accident. Of course, I have scraped the pegs on this one too, but you got to lean a lot to scrape the pegs on this, a lot. So yeah, I mean, this is a great motorcycle. I would say that this is just as comfortable, if not more comfortable than the Harley because of the seating position. I've ridden Harleys with just regular bars. I've ridden Harleys with, I guess, the sweet back bars. I've ridden Harleys with ape hangers, which I actually find ape hangers really comfortable, oddly enough. But after a while, your arms do get with the vibration hanging up there. But I love this motorcycle because it's so comfortable. You have all the electronics. I know a lot of newer Harleys have a lot of the electronics as well. I love being tall enough. That's another thing. I love being able to see over traffic. If you're on a Harley, you cannot see over traffic. Harleys are super expensive to work on. Now, this is a BMW, so, you're kind of getting into that price range as well. But when I had my chopper, it was an S&S engine, but I was always having problems with that. With Harley engines, I know they've made a lot of improvements over the years, and it's not as big of an issue. Oh, Harley Davidson is just marking its territory. That's my bike. Bike is marking its territory by leaving oil marks. Dude, that's not cool, man. Like, I want to be able to get on my bike and go and have an adventure whenever I want. Time is something that's really precious to me. I don't have a lot of it. I'm about to be a father, actually, so that's really cool. That's why I haven't posted any videos for a while. I've been super busy getting ready for that, and time is of the essence. I don't want to put a lot of time into maintaining my motorcycle. I want to be able to leave it in the garage for a few weeks if I want on a battery tender, and then jump on it and do a 1,000-mile journey if I want, or the seals are dry and they're cracking, which happened a lot to me on that S&S engine. And I know Harley engines are very much the same. You guys, of course, are probably going to slaughter me for saying some of that, but yeah, that's just my opinion. All right, so I am fully aware that so many people are going to be attacking me on this because there's a lot of people that love Harley Davidsons, right? I actually like Harley Davidsons. It's just not my preferred everyday driver. I think they're just a little bit too bulky for me, and I want a little bit more mobility, something that's a little bit more nimble, and something a little bit more aggressive on the road. Like, I actually really like sport bikes. You can really lean into corners. That's pretty much all I like about sport bikes. So that's why I moved over to the adventure bikes, because to me, it's the best of everything that I love. Come from a motocross background, and so it feels at home. I want to show you this. Let's see where this is. All right, so as you can see here, Harley Davidson actually has the majority of the market share of motorcycles in the United States by 52%. That is nothing to joke about. Harley Davidson, yes, you are doing a great job. Just not my style, guys. And so did want to say a couple of positive things about Harleys. Now, let me continue to just absolutely shred Harleys. Like I said, the leaking issue, I know that these things were made to leak like this. They were leaking oil onto the chains, and that was intentional. The bikes were made to leak. They made it so that the drain would leak out and lubricate the chain. And I think it has something to do with the forward drive drive of the chain. You guys can probably correct me. So they're actually made to leak, and I know on mine I had an overflow valve that would spit oil sometimes, pretty much every single time I stopped the bike. That's something that really bothered me. I was not a fan. So I just told you guys about the Harley Davidson leaking oil and marking its territory. I guess I didn't have to do quotes the first time, but marking its territory, right? Boom, right here. Harley Davidson not leaking, it's marking its territory. I just thought that was super hilarious that I actually found that on the internet. I think there's bumper stickers and stuff talking about it as well. Look, am I saying that the GS is the perfect motorcycle? Definitely not. Well, I think that probably the most reliable motorcycles out there, and I think the internet can agree with me, are Hondas and Yamahas. I mean, they just make reliable motorcycles. You know, it's just not the bike for me at this moment. I love what the GS offers, and so that's the bike for me. So don't get too upset with me, but this is purely my opinion, but I'm gonna be staying away from Harleys for a while now. I think the GS is the way I love to ride. I do think something else, this is something serious. I know I've been playing around, but something that I really didn't like. I felt like me and all my friends at Harleys, they were always in the shop. Harley shops take so long, and maybe because there's so many bikes out there, but Harley shops take so friggin' long to get your bike back to you. I mean, it would be in there for 3-4 weeks sometimes for something basic. BMW Service has been great for me. Of course, I'm in Europe now, so that might play a little bit into it as well. Most of the time they get back to me within a day, 2 days, 3 days max. Something else that just kind of hit me was that the bike was a bit temperamental. You know, if you didn't ride it as often as you need, you always seem to have some kind of issue when you turn the bike back on. And maybe newer Harleys are completely different, but that was my experience back when I owned one, and it was really, really frustrating that I couldn't just go outside, grab my bike and go for a ride. You know, I can remember so many times that I actually tried to ride my motorcycle, and I went out, started the bike, or tried to start the bike, and there would be a weird noise, or I would start going and it would just die on me. There was just a lot going on. From my experience, and even from my buddies who rode on a regular basis, they had some very similar instances where they weren't showing up to work because their bikes weren't running. I could be totally wrong. Maybe it was just a slew of bad experiences on Harleys, but that was just my experience, and I'm so much happier that I'm on the GS as an everyday rider. That thing is so smooth, so brilliant, and I couldn't have asked for a better motorcycle. Love this thing. All right, guys, so if you do not agree with me, throw something down in the comments. Would love to chat back and forth with you and see what you guys are thinking. Do you prefer Harleys? Do you prefer adventure style motorcycles? And other than that, ride safe, and we'll see you on the pavement.